Okay, from here starts the speaking test. This is the speaking test of the International English Language Testing System. The candidate's name is Steve Smith, and the candidate number is 017782. And the examiner is Sarah White, and the examiner number is 13522. Welcome.
Thank you.
Could you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Steve.
Mm-hmm. Could you spell that for me, please?
It spells out as Steve.
Can I see your identification, please? Okay, thank you. Could you tell me, are you working or are you a student?
I'm currently a student. I'm studying European language and culture at London University.
Very good. Do you like your major?
I do like my major. I find it interesting, and I'm looking forward to finding a job within that criteria.
Okay, good. Tell me, what do you like to do in your free time?
In my free time, I would love to watch some YouTube videos, and if I have enough time, I would study some German, because I want to have a better knowledge in German grammar, which I find it difficult to study.
Okay, thank you. Could you tell me the name of your hometown?
I've been residing in London, which is the capital city of England. And that's a very crowded city, and there is a lot of tourist sites, and I recommend you visit there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Is there anything you dislike about your hometown?
Anything I dislike about my hometown is air pollution, which comes from the other area of the city. That's very different. That's a bad situation there.
Okay, so now we are going to talk about haircuts. How often do you get a haircut?
That's a great question. Let me think about it. I get my haircut once a month. Mm-hmm. I usually went to barber shop, but nowadays, due to coronavirus, I go to a shop that's near my house. They offer a reasonable price to university students, mm-hmm. and because I want to have a tidy hair, so I look good, so I can go and hang out with my friends.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. How long have you had your current hairstyle?
I have maintaining this style about a year since I dispatched from military service, and I like it because I don't have to put a lot of wax and hair product on it, and I like this air serving style.
Thank you. Have you ever had an unhappy haircut experience?
During my military service, we were forced to cut our hair very short, and that's I didn't like how it appeared from outside, so I didn't like that.
Okay, very good. Do you like getting your hair cut?
As I mentioned before, I like to have a tied up hair, mm-hmm. and so be refreshed. So I look refreshed, and because of that I go to the barbershop once a month.
Thank you. Can you compare your hairstyle now to when you were a child?
That's a great question. When I was a child, my brother used to cut my hair, and he had a trimmer. Because he used trimmer to cut my hair always were short, very short, and I didn't like that. But nowadays I can put in style my hair, which represent my identity. So I prefer this kind of style from the one I had in childhood.
Okay, very good. Now let's move on to the second part, and I'll give you a piece of paper here and a pen. Then you have 1 minute to think about the topic I introduced to you, and then you have 2 minutes, and you should talk about 2 minutes about the topic. Okay, and you can make notes if you wish. Here is your paper and a pen, and the topic is describe a time you were sleepy but you had to stay awake. Okay? You have 1 minute to think about it, and your 1 minute starts now. Please. Okay, your time's up now. Now you can talk about it for 2 minutes.
Okay, it was a recent situation that I had a vital exam that called macroeconomic, which I'm taking right now, and that was very important for me. So I should have stayed awake all the night and study for it. And I used several methods to overcome this night. The first one I used was I ate a lot of coffee and I drank a lot of energy drink, which is very weird. And the weird part is when I took 2 showers in a row, and warm water and cold water, which make my blood flow and circulate through my body. And because I didn't like this experience because I'm a very sleepy person, and my friend always says you are very sleepy, and they call me a hibernate. They say you are a hibernate person every day, and the next day I had an exam. I was very sleepy during the exam period, but I did use a great method to overcome that night.
Okay, very good. So how was the next day when you were taking the exam? How did you feel?
As I cited before, I was very sleepy during the exam, and during the exam I rehashed to myself, why am I doing this? Why I stayed up all the night? And after the exam I got the result, and that was very great, and I said, okay, it was worth it to stay up.
Very good. So let's move on to the third part. And the question is, what occasions do people need to stay awake when they're very tired?
That's a great question. I would probably say when they have a project to work on, or in my experience, I told you, they have a study for the exam that's important for them. They should stay awake all the night.
Thank you. In your country, is it common to work a lot of overtime or working overnight?
It didn't used to be common, but nowadays they are very common because of the economical crisis. People have to work during the night so that they can overcome this crisis and get by their life.
Thank you. So, what do you think brought about this change and what caused the change?
I would probably say because of the economical crisis and problem that people have in their life, and the lack of money they have in doing life.
Okay. Do you think people who get up early in the morning are more productive than people who get up later in the morning?
It's kind of a stereotype that I had, but I would say people who wake up early morning, they are more productive because I personally, when I go out and there's dark outside, I get some kind of lazy and drowsy. But when the sun rises, I'm more energetic and productive during the day. So I would say yes.
Yes, right. And who do you think wakes up earlier, younger people or older people?
Definitely younger, because old people have stress and they have tiredness into their body, so it's difficult for them to wake up early. But younger people are able to wake up early in the morning.
So, what kind of people lack sleep?
I haven't thought about that. Let me think. I would say night shift workers lack sleep because they wake up at the night, they start working during the night, and they sleep. They go back to sleep at the morning, and their life balances kind of break down, and they always confuse if they want to work right now or sleep right now, and because of this confusion, they lose a lot of time during the day.
Yeah. That's right. And I think there is a lot of debate these days about high school students. Do they sleep enough? Can you tell me the situation in your country?
I personally think this problem has been addressed in my country now. but in my country, people think college is a place that people get a degree and graduate and go to a good prestigious university. After their graduation, they find a decent job, and then they have a better life. That's the thought of my people. Because of that, a student working very hard, studying very hard. Mm-hmm. And I saw some of my friends during college, they were working, they were studying, they were doing their homework during the lecture times. And the audience and the teacher wouldn't give them a notice because they say, leave them away, they are a student, they lack of sleep. And even though they lacking sleep, and they should take care of their study and their health, because lacking sleep would cause several problems and health issues to the person.
The test is over now. Very well done. It was great. You can take a deep breath. And now it's time to give some feedback on your speech. And you had some strong points and some flaws in your speaking based on IELTS speaking test criteria in terms of fluency, grammatical accuracy, vocabulary range or a lexical resource, and your pronunciation. But first, let's start from your fluency. Your fluency was okay, and it's your speech is well paced. But I think it's better to slow down a little bit in order to focus more on your speech and on your pronunciation, because I picked up some mispronunciation. For example, you said circulate. It's not circulate, it's circulate. Okay, or you said break, it's break. Okay, and it's better to slow down a little bit, but your fluency is great. I like it. And in terms of your lexical resource and your vocabulary range, congratulations, you have a great range of vocabulary, and you use a great range of vocabularies in your speech. For example, you use phrasal verbs like get by, put on, which is good. You use some uncommon words. For example, you said residing instead of saying living. Yes. It's an uncommon word, and it's very good. And about your grammatical accuracy, you had some flaws in your speaking, which I want to mention here. You said that, for example, students, which was students, you should use it in plural form. You used present perfect, which is good. You used all, let's say, all tenses while you were speaking. Present tense, past tense, I don't know, present perfect. It was very okay. And you said they have tiredness and they have stress. And I think it's because that's because of your language, because you're in your language you say I have a stress. Okay, in English people usually say I'm stressed, for example, or they are stressed. Okay, it was a grammatical flaw here, and you use some linking words. For example, you use even though, a variety of linking words, also, even though. Okay, it's good, and I want you to use more linking words when you're speaking. And also in terms of fillers, you used some fillers in your speaking. You said that let me think, instead of using some pauses which are not content related. You know, for example, if you say let me think, it's more conversational than use voice is not good in IELTS. Thank you for using fillers. And also you use some boosters. It was a great point. You said it's a great question. I want you to use more boosters while you're speaking. But in some parts you had some self-corrections. It's natural in IELTS speaking because you are stressed. I understand it. But more than normal is not okay. It's better not to correct yourself. Okay? try to use less self-correction, but overall it was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your flow of speech, your intonation was great. You were well paced, and but a little bit slow down a little fast, but it's better to slow down a little bit. And have a nice day for the rest of the
You
day.
too. Thank you.
you.